Do Bandit signs actually work to land more junk removal jobs? You may be asking yourself this question because you see these signs all over your city, or other companies put up these signs pretty frequently when it comes to home service businesses. And the answer is yes, of course they work. Now there are a few things to consider. There's always good signs and bad signs. And here's an example of what not to do. This sign right here is a sign that I saw today as I was driving through my city, and it's what prompted me to make this video. I realize that a lot of you guys may be having a hard time with designing your signs, putting in a lot of extra effort. And what I want to say in this video is that simple is always better when it comes to Bandit signs. And there are a few things you should follow in order to maximize the amount of leads that you could be getting from your signs. A lot of you guys are spending hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars on these signs per year. So I feel like, this video right here will help you maximize your ROI on the money you're spending to get these signs made. So what I want to say about this sign right here is it's not the traditional size, it's a smaller size. I know a lot of you guys try to save money where you can, maybe by getting smaller signs, but when it comes to these signs, you should be just getting the traditional size. It's already hard enough to read these signs, especially if you look at this one. You'll see that they threw up the logo, they threw up their entire business name, and then at the very bottom, they put their phone number in very, very small font. What you want to be doing with these signs is honestly just writing your junk removal services as big as possible, as bold font as possible, getting it to pop with whatever font and colors you have, and then just your phone number as big as possible as well. And the reason for this is people don't have enough time to read them as they're driving by 20, 30 miles an hour, sometimes faster. They're not going to sit there and try and read it. It could cause a car accident, or they're not going to take a picture even. I had to drive by a few times just to be able to take a picture of this one, and even then it was blurry a few times. Something else you should be considering when making these signs, and it's a good thing to do for a couple of reasons. The first thing you should be doing is putting a forwarding number on these signs, meaning you're tracking your calls using a forwarding number from something like CallRail or even Google Voice, just to be able to see how many calls you're generating from the sign specifically versus, SEO or Google Ads or any other forms of marketing that you're currently using. You want to be able to track how it's actually working from the signs. The other thing that it will help you do is avoid fines from the city. If you are in a specific city that, fines people for putting up these signs because it's illegal in your city, it's a good way to avoid, them having your actual contact information to be able to fine you. That's why when I had signs like this, I never put my logo on them, and I never put the actual company's phone number. I always use forwarding numbers and then just the words junk removal services. Those are the things that you should be considering when creating these signs. I do have a short story on how I learned what works and what doesn't work with these signs. When I first started getting into junk removal, it was like 3 or 4 months into it, I received a call from a gentleman, had us come out and do a job for him. And I asked him when I got there, I was like, how did you hear about us? And he said that he had read the sign down the street that said, we offer junk removal services. And that he got home and then just got on his computer, and then he found me supposedly. It turns out the signs, I looked at them after we left. They were very small. They were even smaller than the one here in the picture. They were probably like this big, but like that. And, too small of a sign, had too much going on, said the entire name of the business, and then it said junk removal, and then it had the phone number. You couldn't read any of it. The guy, what ended up happening is he went to Google and he typed in junk removal services near me. My Google ad popped up. He clicked on it and called me, thinking it was the same person from the sign. People that are older don't understand how technology works. Sometimes you give them a business card and they just still, type junk removal on Google, and they think that you're always the first one. As if you know anything about Google ads, the ads are always changing. You're not always number one. You could be moving around. So it's really important to make sure that your signs can be read from far away for a long enough time. Those are the things to consider, making sure that you have colors that actually pop. Another thing I noticed with the sign is the colors were just too dull. You should be using like black and orange, for example, or black and red, something that you could read. And what's funny is 20 or 30 feet away from this sign, there was another sign from a competitor, and I wanted to show it to you because you'll notice a big difference from the signs, like the size, the words, everything. They got most of it right compared to the smaller sign that I took a picture of. So that's just something that I want you guys to consider when making Bandit signs, making sure that you just keep it simple, and you're gonna see a big difference and an improvement from the calls you're getting from these signs. As always, guys, if you need any other tips or help growing your junk removal or dumpster rental business, you can call me at 503-914-7250 or visit drunkremovalmoney.com. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.